All right, everyone. That was Skinny Puppy, and that'll probably get this banned, but hey, fuck it at this point. I don't give a shit anymore because guess what? Guess what? Now it appears I have not actually gotten a strike on the channel, but they're threatening me with a strike. Now I don't get the difference. I mean, either they're going to do it or they're not. I already have one strike, and they're threatening me with another, and they've already removed the video because hey, do you remember when this gray alien in a human suit revealed the important truth that Atlantis did not sink itself? No, no, it was used to cover up the evidence because that was where all the space politicians went to bang children. And so when it was going to be revealed to the public, suddenly Atlantis just sunk into the ocean. Yeah, Atlantis didn't sink itself. And you remember how I revealed the shocking truth that Bill Gates was working with the reptoids and that they have this belief in their stupid Satan religion that if they get the entire world to drink reptoid piss or to inject it into their bodies, that their God, that's the black penis Baphomet, will rise again and conquer the universe. Yeah. That whole bit about saying that Bill Gates was trying to get you all to inject reptoid piss into your veins appears that video has been taken down because it violates medical misinformation rules on YouTube. So I don't know how long this channel's got. I really don't know how long we've got here with this channel anymore. I mean, they say they're going to strike me. They haven't done the strike, but hey. When was this? 2 years ago now? This video came out like 2 fucking years ago. You know, I'm not sure on that one. I'm still not sure if Zuckerberg's a reptoid or not because honestly, reptoids are very, very good at conning people. They're very charismatic, or at least charismatic to rich people. Seems like normal people can spot them from a mile away. But no, I'm more inclined to think by the way he acts, Zuckerberg's an android of some sort, that he's a machine, and that his program keeps failing. Because again, he's not emotional enough to be a reptoid. I mean, to get a good idea of what a reptoid's like, Epstein, he was a good example. The women on The View, they're all reptoids, except Whoopi Goldberg. I think Whoopi Goldberg actually is just fucked up, but the rest of them are reptoids. Um, Epstein, Bob Weinstein, basically the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, they're all reptoids. Yeah, they're really digging into the septic tank. I think they want me gone. I mean, yeah, I was shocked. A 2-year-old video, and I appealed it. Don't worry. I appealed it. I said, in this video, I tell my audience that I'm a gray alien from Zeta Reticula in a human suit, and that I reveal the shocking truth that, in fact, Atlantis did not sink itself, and that the other shocking truth that Bill Gates is working for shape-shifting reptilians, and he's trying to trick the world into injecting reptoid piss into our veins in order to fulfill a prophecy that would resurrect their big black penis god. And then I ended it with, if you can't take a joke, it's not my problem. Whoopi is Dorita Baphomet. So yeah, I think they're gunning for me. What the fuck? Seriously. If that counts as medical disinformation, I mean, does the Swedish chef count as cooking misinformation on the Muppets? Seriously. I don't know. I mean, what about all these channels where people claim to be psychic healers? Do they get this shit? The insanity defense. Nice. Oh no. That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said in the video. Yeah, I think Zuckerberg is absolutely a crappy android, and he keeps fiddling with his own programming. And I honestly, honestly think the issue with Zuckerberg is he's lusting after, Chat GTP. I think that's what it is. He wants to bang that thing. It's because they feel like it's too close to the right. What? Making fun of their sacred cows? That one gets me. Nobody should be off limits for ridicule, scorn, or mockery. Seriously, nobody. And anyone who knows anything about good comedy, that is punching that shit. Fuck that shit. Just if it's funny. And you know what? If they're so damn sensitive that people would believe that the vax is reptoid piss, maybe that's their failing on their part. That they've done such a shitty job and their vax is such a piece of shit that people might say, that's a more probable explanation to why I got sicker when I took the vax. No, I didn't. It's bad for grays. If you make fun of them, that makes them feel weak. Yeah, well, yeah. Sharon Osbourne was Licorice Lilith. Well, supposedly she was fairly hot in her youth. Let's take a picture. But then, I don't know. Sharon Osbourne, just Jesus. That's another person that I could not stand more than maybe 5 minutes in a room with her before I'd want to start hitting over the head with a frying pan. Interesting. There doesn't seem to be any photos on the internet of her young. Maybe she's a reptoid. She's always looked weird. It's kind of weird. Is here I see a picture of her in her 30s, and she doesn't look any different than she looks now. It's kind of whoa. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Yeah, I think she's a reptoid. Yeah, I'm going to share this pic here. I think we're onto something here. This is Sharon Osbourne young, and down in the corner is Sharon Osbourne now. They don't look all that much different. And no, she was not a looker in her youth. She looks exactly the same, just with a different haircut. Same bad dress sense. Yeah, I don't know. Ozzy, what have you done? So how are we doing? The devil cannot handle being mocked. Yeah. Sarah Gilbert was Danish bred Venus. Oh God, what happened to Sarah Gilbert? She went bonkers. Man, 2016 really did break all these fuckers, didn't it? Yeah, fuck all of them. Really, seriously. She's got that old age droop. Yeah, I don't know. Well, she must have some powerful mouth game. You're right. That might be what kept Ozzy around, or it might just be all the drugs. I don't know. So anyway, Boobs of Steel is so close to being ready for pre-order. I'm cleaning up the final cover art right now, and I was doing a one final pass on the last chapter, which I have not posted here yet, as well. And as soon as I do that, it's going to be up for pre-order, and it'll be available a month later. And if I get any more done in the meantime, I will include that when it goes up in a month. But let's open up the artwork. Actually, I think I have it stashed away here. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm basically doing the finishing touches on this cover. That is wonderful art by J.Ishiro, and I did the graphic design. But because I'm an obsessed perfectionist, I like adding shading to the artwork. The woman on the right here has no shading yet, and the woman on the left has the full anime shading. So once the woman on the right there is done, we're good to go. All right. That title is misleading. Wait a minute. Let me put it back. So what is wrong with this title? I mean, there's time to change it. So okay. Hey Owen, you're doing good. Working on your fan comic. Recreated a scene from the first Guyver movie. Very cool. Recently saw Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Okay. Um, I watched that new Spider-Man movie a while back. Indian Spider-Man, Spider Curry, if you will, is such a Gary Sue. The rest of the movie is meh to me. Miguel O'Hara's based though. I really liked the first film. I thought it was excellent and did everything. Oh, he means the title? Well, the title's misleading. Not really. The end of this channel is probably near, dude. Seriously, this channel is on thin ice. I don't know how much longer we got because they keep pulling my videos down. They keep threatening me with strikes. So I don't know. Scroll up. Okay, so you recently saw Rise of the Beasts, the Transformer movie, and you said it was misleading. Well, why'd you go see it anyway? I don't know. Out of the fact that I like Transformers G1 and I grew up on it, I cannot watch those movies. They're just really great on my nerves. They seem to have so little in common with the original mythos, which was perfectly fine and much more developed. I can't watch the current Transformers movies. That and Michael Bay's directing style is like, where is anyone in relation to anything? It's just like rapid jump cuts. You have no idea what the fuck's going on in an action scene. The Transformers themselves look like garbage piles. You'll make a backup channel so we can keep the shows going on here. Yeah, I'm gonna switch to Rumble, but yeah, let's spite them. We'll have a backup channel to keep posting because yes, they aren't for you. Stop supporting them. Movies taking place in 1994. I don't know. Maybe that was their way of getting around wokeism in the film. I noticed during the 80s craze, when everyone had this make-believe image of the 80s, a lot of filmmakers were using it to get around the woke shit initially and then failed. Yeah, you need to stop watching these flicks. How much did it cost to go see the Transformers movie? Honestly, how much is the movie ticket right now? Somebody post because I don't know. Or streaming. Tell me. Somebody post, please. I'm waiting. Does nobody know how much it would cost to stream that movie or to see it in a theater? Yes, I did. I read all the Transformer comics from Marvel. And while they were similar to the cartoons, they were distinctly different. And it's interesting that when they made the movie, they kind of merged ideas from both. New Wes Anderson movie. Oh, so it costs $20 to go see a crappy movie right now. Honestly, too bad for a movie, I guess. But here, I'm just going to make a point. Just going to make a point. For that same price, you can buy most of Ralt's books on Kindle. And I believe that'll get you 2 of the hardcovers. And of course, I could say for me, again, $20 will probably get you just about everything I've done in Kindle, and will get you Case File Arkham. So just saying. Asteroid City looks interesting. What are we referencing here now? And it's about $10 to stream. Oh, okay. By the way, Dread Pirate Bromando, unless you say no, give me a second. Oh shit, the laptop's outside. I can't do that. I was, when I write Siege Engine, I'm just going on stream of consciousness, and I write the scene where you get a flashback to the asteroid Eros, which is it's a very important near Earth or asteroid. If we wanted to do regular space travel, it would be a great place to set a base up for refueling. Oh, the Wes Anderson movie is called Asteroid City. Oh, okay. I'll look into that. But anyway, in my setting, I write that Eros was originally supposed to be Monaco in space. That's this casino hotel conglomerate had basically bought the asteroid and made it like the premier getaway for wealthy people to go gamble their money away until the dread pirate Bromando conquered it and became the pirate king of Eros. And now he runs the biggest casino in space. No, you don't make any appearance, but I love that name, Romando. It's great. It fits. So as long as you're cool with it, you're the king of the biggest casino in the Siege Engine universe. Okay, so Asteroid City is a new Wes Anderson movie. Looks like it takes place either in the 60s or 50s, involving small town making contact with aliens. Oh, that does actually sound good. And we're getting Bill Murray again, are we? Because that's always one of the nice things about his films is Bill Murray's just kind of allowed to do what he wants. He made Life's Aquatic. Okay, Jason Schwartzman, of course, Scarlett Johansson, Tom Hanks, Jeff Wright, Tilda Swinton, Bryan Cranston, Ed Wharton, a bunch of people I don't recognize, Steve Carell, Matt Dillon, William Dafoe. Willem Dafoe's in it. That's good. Margot Robbie, Jeff Goldblum. Well, it looks like there's enough people in this film I don't hate that I can watch it. I can ignore Tom Hanks and Bryan Cranston, I guess. Okay, the premise is in 1955, students and parents from across the country gather for a scholarly competition, recreation, comedy and drama and romance at a junior stargazer convention held in a fictional American desert town. Would it be Hazard County? Sorry. Love it. Can the character look like my screen sign? Actually, sure. I thought that was Warhammer art. Where'd you get that artwork? I mean, there's absolutely no reason give me a link to where you got that image. There's no reason the Pirate King of Eros can't have 3 Gatling guns strapped to his arm. I mean, the whole idea of Siege Engine is just to be insane and over the top. So sure, why not? Yeah, I'll agree. Cranston is a great actor, but he is a fucking moron. He won't shut the fuck up about how great communism is, Wolf. That's what's wrong with Cranston. And, I have a personal loathing for communists. Actually, in fact, in the next chapter of Siege Engine, which is almost ready to share with you guys, I was working heavily on it yesterday. It comes to the end of this big battle, and I'll ruin it for you. Sorry if I'm ruining it for you, but it comes to the end of this big battle where they almost, they almost all die fighting these commies called the Riva Rojo. They're Zapatistas, and at the end of the battle, a handful of the Zapatistas surrender because they don't want to die. And after having such a shitty day and deciding that nobody really likes communists that much, they step on them with their mechs. All right. I was toying with an idea with the Dukes of Hazzard reference. There's a reason I actually said that. And my big problem right now is that I take too long to write, and it's an overthinking it. And I was thinking maybe as a challenge to myself to see if I can produce something quickly, kind of like a 1-day challenge, force myself to do it. Take an old goofy episode of Dukes of Hazzard and see if I can't, in a day, rewrite it into a space opera as just a one and done. And, I won't have to worry about plot because I'd pretty much be mirroring the Dukes of Hazzard episode. And I'd always, all the events would already be kind of laid out, but I do it in space with different characters. Tilda Swinton and Willem Dafoe are the only actors in that movie I would still willingly watch. I think there was one more in there that I would include. Let's see. Yeah, I shouldn't have shut the window. And no, I won't write all of you into the book, but I'm kind of, because Siege Engine is, I'm writing it as my fun project. This is what I do to keep myself sane and happy. And it's kind of an anything goes setting. I'm trying to put as many shout outs to the audience as possible. I haven't put it in yet, but we're going to have a JC missile on one of the mechs. I mentioned one of the pilots has the call sign Acid Trip. Let's see, I'm trying to remember. There is a mech pilot named Fiona who pilots a mech called the Pew Pew. And and of course, then there's Crew Chief Owens, named after Owen. And I mean, none of these are like character. A lot of these people, it's just name references. You never see them; they're just referenced. And it's I don't know. It's fun. Okay, who else is in this film? Yeah, I don't know anything about Schwartzman. Tom Hanks makes me cringe. Like Tilda Swinton. Don't know anything about Ed Norton. Adrian Brody just has a weird face. Don't know anything. Wait a minute. Hope Davis. Who is Hope Davis? Don't know. She looks familiar, though. She was on Perry Mason, apparently. Have no opinion on Steve Carell. None. And yeah, Margot Robbie drives me up the wall. Yeah, I really can't say. Willem Dafoe and Tilda Swinton, though. And I don't care what anyone says. She's hot. I like that she looks weird. And, it's not even like she's hot because she's not hot in an androgynous sort of way. I'm not saying that. I'm saying she's hot in the fact that she's weird. And I don't know. Sometimes that does it for me. If she's not pretty, she's weird looking. Does anyone else know what I mean by that? And like there are certain faces or builds where it's like, well, you're not necessarily hot, but there's something weird about you that I like. Like Brienne in Game of Thrones. Now, Brienne has a pretty face, actually. The woman actually has a not a beautiful, but pretty face. But it's more just the novelty of she's such a weird individual herself, being a giantess. And apparently she's got one hell of a sense of humor. That actress Gwendolyn Christie. Cranston's anti-American. Well, she'd get the fuck out then. I'm sure that China would love his ass. Oh shit, I've never changed my tune about him dying in Godzilla 2014. Yeah. Communists should be looked at the same way Nazis are. Communists were worse, actually. In the long, the Nazis were outright very open about their goals and their aims and their brutality. But the communists were fucking insidious. That and the communists killed a whole lot more people. A whole lot more people. So Jeff Goldblum still has his nerd card. He hasn't fucked up. Yeah, he had always kind of had geek cred, and he's a weirdo. Although, did anyone ever see the Jeopardy thing on SNL where they had David Duchovny playing Jeff Goldblum? It was eerie. Don't take too long to write. George R. R. Martin took that crown ages ago. Janelle, I don't want to take too long to write. I struggle with it daily that I don't write as fast as I'd like. And it's a constant struggle for me to try and achieve pulp speed. That's another reason I've been doing Siege Engine, is to write at pulp speed. But I found something out. If you want to do a mech battle that's even remotely believable and good, you can't write at pulp speed for the battle. You can write everything else at pulp speed. The inner monologues, bar fights, conversations, shit happening on the ship. But once you actually get to the combat scene with a lot of mechs, especially if it's more than two, you can't write that at pulp speed, because it's very important the audience or the reader know what the fuck's going on in the scene and it not be boring to read. That in this first battle scene kind of sets up the rules for the world. What the fuck happened to the first cover? That was fucking cool. Oh, that's going to be the final cover when I collect all the chapters. I like that first cover more than this one. For the James, the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to release Boobs of Steel in 50,000 word increments, because I'm tired of waiting. And once all of it's done, I'm going to collect it in a final book. And it will be that cover with the four women on it that has Tomb Raider and Tura Satana, Varla, the Jungle Queen, and Foxy Brown all on it. And this one, the reason I've got Sybil Danning and basically the chick from, was it May, from Dirty Pair? She looks close enough. She's not May, but she kind of looks like her. The reason I have that on the cover, the first book, is a large chunk of this involves the 80s in the United States and the 80s in Japan, and how much influence that had on the archetypes. So that's why I chose those two. I suppose I also talk a bit about Wonder Woman, and I could have included a nod to her as well, but fuck it. I didn't have the money to afford 3 people on the cover. So, oh, you're taking off, Star? We don't talk enough. We need to get you back on, or I should call you sometime. Tilda Swinton is hot, tall, and weird. Yes. Well, she's old now, but when you talk about these people, you usually think of them in your prime. I don't want to bang Susan Sarandon as she is now, but in her 20s. Oh yeah, fuck yeah. And there's a long list of people like that. Think of all those 50s and shit. Mimi Van Doren. I wouldn't want to fuck her now, but her in the 50s, holy crap. Gwendolyn is definitely a playful giantess, sexy growl. Her and the dude, Gwendolyn Christie and the dude who played the Kingslayer, the two of them have a very weird friendship. You see the behind the scenes with them, and it's like 2 guys hanging out. It's really weird. I think they've banged, but they're fucking hilarious, and their perv humor is way over the top. You get the sense those two have gone out and gotten drunk at the pub quite a bit. We need to stop pretending that Nazis weren't communists. Yeah, he basically stole everything from the commie playbook. And before Hitler started the Nazi Party, the National Socialists, he was part of the German Communist Party. No one wants to talk about that. And in fact, he was a protege of the head of the German Communist Party. Okay, going over here. What did Owen say? Oh, okay. Yes, the David Duchovny SNL skit, the part of the golden age of SNL when they went into the weeds. Yeah. Okay. Going through the comments. But I think we need to actually make a point that yes, the Nazis were communist or national socialists, but okay. But their brand of communism wasn't nearly as awful as the communism they're pushing today. Soviet communism, Chinese communism. Yes, the Nazis were fucking awful. We get it. Hollywood's made more than enough movies to tell us that. But as bad as the Nazis were, old Hitler didn't have shit on Pol Pot. He did not have shit on Mao. Mao beat all of them. Mao was one sadistic piece of shit. And Russia, we all know how many Russia killed millions. They make the Nazis look like fucking amateurs. So, I don't mind the distinction between Nazis and Reds for the sheer reason that the Nazis weren't nearly as awful as the Reds. You say what you want. They were terrible people. Sure, they did awful things. But, oh, fuck it. I'm going to get banned. I don't care. I'll do it anyway. Just because I'm being an asshole and I know they're going to ban me anyway. Think of all the good things Hitler did. We never talk enough about the good things Hitler did. I mean, Frank, our social security system is based on Hitler's social security system. And I'm sure all the boomers will continue to love that. I mean, they're obsessed with the fucking thing. We have him to thank for the Volkswagen Bug, the favorite car of hippies. Without that, where would we be? Modern rocketry. But yeah, actually, you would be shocked. You really would be shocked to find out how many policies that the left adopted and pushed through were actually replicating and copying what Hitler did. I mean, they loved Hitler until they didn't. And, shit, Hitler was a very popular leftist. Very, very popular. FDR was a huge fan of his and said that what Hitler had done was amazing and that, they were a model example of a country and was very interested in implementing Hitler's policies, including eugenics. Never talk about that until it wasn't okay to like him anymore. And the same can be said for Canada's leaders. The world or the League of Nations liked Hitler. I mean, it's amazing. You go down the list. He was a hero to them until he wasn't. Tilda has that unearthly look to her, like the Fae. Yes, she does. Socialism is communism. Yes, it is. And international socialists are worse than national socialists. I'll just say it. The Nazis just weren't as successful. Hitler is not as bad as not as bad because he started later and got taken out quicker. The Reds got to live longer. Yeah, we should have nuked their fucking asses while we had the chance. Back when the atomic bombs weren't so terrible. And believe it or not, the atomic bombs, they don't tell you this. We're always told about how duck and cover was stupid and, it was just the insanity of the times. And the boomers were always laughing about how stupid their parents were that they thought duck and cover and all these safety measures would protect them from a nuclear war. That's not true. Originally, it was atomic war. And atomic war was survivable. Those A bombs were nothing like the H bombs that came later, where it's like, fuck it, everything's gone. I mean, look, we dropped an A bomb on 2 Japanese cities, and they're inhabitable still. Socialism. How high do you want? How high a body count do you want? Person. Yes. Me. Actually, those things are bad. Hey, I'm not actually saying Social Security is good or bad. I have my opinions of it. I mean, if everyone really wanted Social Security and agreed to it, okay. Except they broke the fucking thing and they never fixed it. Okay? They broke the goddamn thing. It would have actually worked if they'd left it the fuck alone, but they didn't. But still, I have issues with it. Don't forget the national interstate in the US, technically from Hitler's policies. Yeah. Mexico also loves the Volkswagen Beetle. It was eventually even used as taxis at one point. Funny Mustache Man got most of his ideas from American progressives. I don't doubt it. FDR seemed pretty cool with both Hitler and Mussolini. Yes, he was. FDR married his cousin, talking about eugenics. Yeah. German rocket scientists came over during Project Paperclip, said they learned it all from American Goddard. Really? You know, you never hear that part of the story. We always hear the quote from von Braun saying, "We had help." It was, "How did you guys advance so quickly?" And there was always the "we had help" claim that von Braun made. And usually that's left off saying, well, did they have alien help? But was it really just Goddard helped them originally? So H bomb. Who invented the F bomb after the A, B, C, D, and E bombs? Okay, the F bomb. I'm gonna have to say that probably probably some angry Celt during the Middle Ages probably came up with the F bomb. Um, that or some from probably or a Cockney. That probably a Cockney invented it. Uh, the A bomb was the Manhattan Project. The H bomb was Edward Teller, madman. B, C, and D they just skipped them. Didn't really. We were going to make an N bomb, but then didn't. YouTube said that wasn't okay. I know many of us have bad families, but should have community based safety nets, not centralized ones. I agree, actually. I think community based safety nets, community based everything is better than centralized. Centralized is just begging to fail. There was this myth that, interestingly enough, came out of socialism and communism that the sci fi writers of the 30s, 40s, and 50s adopted, which was the idea that central control would organize and everything would work. It would, like an anthill. And over again, we've seen that doesn't work. That does not work at all. Centralized control is just begging for everything to fall apart once one cog gets pushed out of place. Goddard's stuff was public, and they used all his stuff to give them a good start. The U.S. military only used Goddard for the rocket assist takeoffs. Oh, so George, are you familiar with that quote that they always like to throw out that von Braun said, "Oh, well, how did we advance so far? We had help." And then, again, that always being used to imply that aliens were helping them. I'll have to look more into Goddard. I mean, there's Goddard Space Center, and it's named that for a reason, how influential he was. The EU has given this a bad name, but subsidiary is unironically the best idea. The EU doesn't disapprove of a subsidiary because all the problematic parts are central and the functional parts are local. Yeah. Oh, you haven't heard that, George? Yeah, there's a famous quote that comes up every once in a while uh, in alien circles, alien and UFO circles, where they always bring up the quote from von Braun that said that the reason the Germans had advanced so quickly in space travel and rocketry was that they had outside help. And then they always leave that. I don't know if there's a second part to that statement or not. Disney cast a gay porn star in Little Mermaid. Oh, God. Shit, really? I'm not surprised. Now, here's the other cover. Or actually, this isn't the final draft. Where's the final draft has a different background on them, but this is the cover of the finished Boobs of Steel. German scientists did sound surprised U.S. didn't use the Goddard use Goddard in better ways. Interesting. What about the Die Glock? The Flying Bell. There's not enough information on it. I mean, we know it exists. We know that they did something with it. They found some stuff, but the truth about it, who the fuck knows? It's too difficult to say. I mean, you could say that it was a failed project and a joke, and it never went anywhere, and it's just hyped up to lead people in the wrong direction. Or you could say, well, maybe it was 100% successful. And as part of the disinformation, our government's gone out of their way to discredit it. So no one knows. And both are equally probable. I mean, it is true that after World War II, there was a ton of research into anti-grav, and then suddenly anti-grav was declared impossible, and we never heard anything again about it. And anti-grav is one of those things that to this day, our government, if you suggest you've even come up with it, will get very insistent. No, you didn't. It doesn't exist. And you can look into that. There was another mathematical principle I wanted to talk to Raltz about last night, but we just kind of got off topic, which was that if you ever wanted to keep physics from ever progressing beyond a certain point, if you ever wanted to halt physics being used for practical applications and furthering technology, quantum theory and string theory would be the perfect way to lead everyone in the wrong direction with an unsolvable problem. Just saying. And I'm not the one to bring that up. That was brought up by a few physicists. YouTube put a little heart button on the side of the chat. Everyone click it. It's fun to press buttons. Yeah, do that. Yeah, everyone didn't know they'd done that. Let me check that. And again, was yesterday's show good or not? I mean, that I dug. Okay, let's see. What are the symbols I can use? It says I can have a flower heart. Oh, I can have a gay rainbow. I can have a rainbow fan. I can click this thing that says that you have a penis and a vagina. You have a gay unicorn. How about the Booga Booga Witch Doctor symbol here? Okay, hey, black listeners, are you offended by this YouTube symbol? I think you should be, and I'll complain. Oh, you've got a drag queen, and you've got a gay ginger, and you've got a black hand ready to do some masturbation. Look at that. But wait, are my people represented? Damn it! I want to know: are my people represented in this? It appears not. Fuck them. God, these symbols are kind of lame. I'm going through the symbols. Okay, I like the skull and crossbones. There I am. There. My people have now been represented. Not that one. I wish we could use those emojis. Of all companies, Starbucks banned Pride. Yeah, isn't that great? They're scared. That's awesome. I mean, they're finally beginning to realize this may not work out for them if they keep it up, which is good. They should be frightened. And, Starbucks has already lost so much money, they can't risk to lose more. And, Joe Biden pledging allegiance to the progressive rainbow flag. God, fucking morons. So the only emoji I need some days is ugh. Okay. Have I heard of the Korolev mirrors? No, let me check that. I've heard so many of these things that I may not even remember. Give me a second. Korolev. Okay. I'm going to enter this into the chat and you tell me if this is what you mean. There is that what you want? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a reptoid. Teller was a son of a bitch. And you know what? He actually was from a group of Hungarian immigrants that were brought over before Paperclip that were referred to as the aliens, or were they the Martians? I forget which. Okay, so you want to know about the Korzierev mirror, or I can't speak Russian. An aluminum device, reflective, curled into a spiral. Allegedly, it focuses different types of radiation. Oh, this is psychotronic technology, isn't it? Used in their ESP experiments. No, I've actually not heard anything about this. I mean, I did a fair share of reading on the psychotronic experiments of the 50s and 60s in the Soviet Union, but no, I'm not familiar with this. I'll have to look into it. Regardless, it looks fun. One influencer at the White House Pride celebration went topless on the White House grounds. White House banned them. I can't wait for the backlash. Apparently, they're also bombing targets or threatening to bomb targets. So, hey, Target stores have pissed off the rainbow people. According to Strange Angel show, Von Braun's help was corresponding with Jack Parsons. I believe that. The problem with Starbucks is they're another one of those places that throws salt in their drinks to make you thirsty, and that their coffee is watered down. Don't get me wrong. Some of their coffees are good, but you can do better. And Jacobson claims Area 51 was his idea. Possible. I mean, they did do nuke tests there. Although I will repeat over and over again, it's a misnomer that aliens were being kept on the grounds at Area 51. According to official lore, and this does make more sense, they were put into the Blue Room at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which is cryogenically sealed. So it wasn't aliens who helped him. It was Satan. Yeah, he was into all that shit, wasn't he? Fun fact, Goddard did launches in Roswell, New Mexico. Perhaps the Germans got help from aliens secondhand. I used to think there was nothing to Roswell, that it really was just, government misinformation to keep people confused. But the more and more I looked into Roswell, and the more I read from legit scientists and legit investigators, Roswell happened. The government flipped out, made sure, did everything they could. Everyone made everything they could to make sure people forgot about it. Okay, and for a long ass time, it just kind of vanished. The story went away. Then in the 70s, a couple of journalists dug the story up and started investigating. Then you had, oh God, what's his name? The physicist. There was the atomic physicist that worked for the government who started getting stuff, and he realized they were all being sent from bases that had contact with Roswell during the crash. And he didn't even know the story till after the fact about Roswell. And then the government went apeshit again and did everything in their power to confuse the story and misdirect, which tells me that there is something to the Roswell story. That, and there's another aspect of the Roswell story that is pretty fucking weird. Was the reason for Area 51 just to test weapons, new inventions, and nukes? Far as I know, yeah. Kat's father actually went there a few times to test some of his gear, so I'd have to have Kat talk about that. Oh God, what's his name? Trying to remember the name of the scientist. But no, one of the interesting things about the Roswell crash is the drawings. There was a drawing made by one of the people in town, and it was a nurse who had supposedly been a nurse. No, not supposedly. She did. This is true. The nurse who was brought into the hospital, military hospital, and was involved somewhat with she knew the mortician in town, and they did ask for 3 small coffins, 4-foot coffins from the mortician, and the base did ask for a shit ton of dry ice. And the nurse that was there during the supposedly trying to help whoever was in the crash made a drawing of what she saw, and it looks a hell of a lot like what Barney Hill said when he was put under hypnotic regression. And there's no way that Barney had ever seen that drawing. It also mirrors the drawings made by the Andreessen woman, who was another early abduction case, who knew nothing of Roswell or the Hill case. And it's pretty interesting that all three of those people gave the same description or drawing of what the alien looked like. And this was before movies and media pretty much cross-pollinated and infected any chance of a legit investigation. Now, anyone who claims they've been abducted, of course they're going to see grays because the image is burned into our brains. But prior to 1974, I believe, or was it 74 or 75, it was when the TV movie came out. Prior to that, the image of the gray was non-existent. It wasn't in our culture. And often people who claimed to have been abducted by aliens saw different things. And it was just the Andreessen case, the Hill case, and Roswell that all had that same gray alien image that is in my avatar. Occult phenomena is known phenomena. Yeah. I went to Target for a few things a bit before the backlash. Oh. Do you think the image may have been made so iconic on purpose? Maybe, but I'm more inclined to believe the image became iconic because of 2 things. first, when they did the TV movie, let me grab the. Um, the movie is actually very well done. It has James Earl Jones in it. Um, let's see. No, that's not it. Or is it? Yeah. Okay. The UFO incident um, was made as a docudrama about the Barney and Betty Hill case, um, where they basically underwent regression hypnosis, and the guy that did it is very legit. He was one of the people who helped treat Vietnam vets for post-traumatic shock, and as well as being the guy who just happened to be involved in the Hill case, his main claim to fame is that he revolutionized how we treat post-traumatic stress and heal post-traumatic stress, and that's actually how he ended up getting involved in the Hill cases. These people were having horrible post-traumatic stress. He did hypnotic regression, and their memories was where the beats of the alien abduction phenomena came from. And Barney and Betty both saw different aliens, though. Betty's report said they had long noses and pointy ears. Barney described a gray alien. Now, Barney was a lot smarter than Betty, but that may not have anything to do with it. Let's see. But yeah, that movie came out in 1975, and it was a hit. And that was the first time anyone really saw the image of the gray alien nationally. And I'll show you this. Here, I'll share the screen. This is the TV movie. And, you know, it was good for the time, the budget. And after that, after this TV movie came out, I mean, within a week, people are reporting abductions from these guys everywhere. Every crazy coming out of the woodwork, people are claiming, oh, it happened to me yesterday. So, yeah, at that point, the image has now become a meme. It's gone global or gone national, and it's been embedded in our collective psyches that this is what a real alien looks like. So anything after 1975 has to be taken with a grain of salt for that reason alone. And if that didn't do it, what really put the nail in the coffin for us being able to say, okay, did you see an alien or not? Or are you being legit, or did you just see this image on TV? Let me do this. 1977's Close Encounters of the Third Kind sealed the deal. And here we go. This pretty much sealed it. After this, if people talked about seeing aliens, this was it. But there's a twist to this story, and that is originally Steven Spielberg was going to have the aliens be like incredibly non-human. He was going to have them as these three-legged amorphous shapes that looked thoroughly alien. And he, oh God, hold on. See, I need more caffeine. This isn't fair. No, I don't want Kelly Blue Book. Project Blue Book. Sorry. Hold on. Sorry for the delay. I don't have my notes in front of me. We're going into deep dig shit now. This is a deep dive. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sure this delay is a whole lot of fun, right? Okay, I'll just do a quick find. Oh, come on. This is really annoying me because the name, this should come right up. And it kind of pisses me off that I'm not thinking of the name right now because I've read a lot of his work. God, I'm scanning the wiki entry. Alan J. Hynek, Dr. Alan J. Hynek, who was the astronomer and consultant for Project Blue Book, who came out after the fact. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I had the picture up, so none of you saw this. Let's first go back. Let's do the Hill case. This is the first image of the gray anyone ever saw in the United States, for the most part. And this was in 1975. And then Close Encounters came out in 77. And if the TV movie hadn't sealed the deal, this movie did. And it was interesting because it had the 4-foot grays, and then it had a tall gray that was, there's supposed to be multiple types of grays, and the taller ones with a different shaped head are supposedly in charge, and the smaller grays basically do the grunt work. I'm not finding it. But anyway, Alan J. Hynek with Project Blue Book came out and just flat out said, look, it was my job to come up with possible reasons these sightings happened. And the military was then just saying, yes, this is exactly what happened. And he became very, very frustrated with Project Blue Book because, well, they were lying. He did a tell-all. He came out and basically said, my job was telling them these things, and I didn't realize they were just writing them off immediately as fact. And anyway, Hynek did his tell-all book, talked about the number of cases that weren't ever talked about, and all the cases that had a legit evidence to confirm it. But most importantly, when consulted by Steven Spielberg in the making of this film, Dr. J. Allen Hynek said, well, supposedly this is what a real alien looks like, and drew them a picture of a gray and said, make them look like this. So there you go. And after this movie came out, the image of the gray became pretty much prevalent. It was universal. And any abduction phenomena after this point, you can't trust that they are being honest about what they saw. You can't say, well, these people all were unaware of this, that they drew the same thing. You can't do that anymore. Although I can point out things that in stories that are automatic giveaways that they're fake. Yeah, if you haven't seen this film, it's well worth watching. It's fun. I think before the 70s, people referred to little green men, but it was associated with insanity. I believe actually the term little green men was cooked up by the government to discredit UFO researchers. But the image of the little green man came from movies originally. And I think it was popularized by hold on. I think the thing that popularized the image of little green men forever. I mean, little green men was a term that was being used in the early 50s, okay? But when the Great Gazoo was added to the Flintstones, that was it. That was the archetypical little green man. But yeah, there were quite a few movies in the 50s that pretty much was the idea that they were little green. They were always green, and it was just because, I don't know, they were foreign to us. Let's see. going through here. Kind of funny. We have booby censoring videos content, like a blue-footed booby getting shielded by a bird, and then by a great tit. The grays in that image looks something out of a Star Trek episode. Yeah, well, yeah, Star Trek definitely used the big head image quite a bit. Clownfish TV lamented that actual alien incidents whistleblowers are being overshadowed by fictional aliens and sci-fi on Twitter. They're well poisoned by entertainment. Yeah, there are. Yeah, it's a shame I can't. That he's way too popular to talk to. I think he and I would have a lot to talk about. He had to survive San Francisco too. And yeah, George is absolutely correct. Before the 70s, they were little green men. And before the 70s, there was no concrete idea of what an alien was. I mean, they were always kind of portrayed as, little guys, green guys with bug antennas. But I mean, in movies and in abduction reports, there was no real consistency other than the space hippies. There were the space brothers that were blue-eyed blonde Aryans that were here to teach us about love and peace and keeping the environment clean. And the Great Gazoo. Okay, Invasion of the Saucermen. Let me, I think, was it Invasion of the Saucermen? (1957). The funny thing is this movie is actually kind of a joke. But yeah, there you go. He kind of looks like Gazoo, just hideous. All right, well, I'm kind of hungry, so I'm going to go get something to eat. But enjoy this, I guess, unofficial Great Big Alien Show. The Saucermen. I think the Saucermen get drunk in that movie, by the way. Neon's a good guy. I like his videos. I agree with a lot of what he says. I wish I could get my books into his hands. Shit, I'd just love to have him on sometime, but like shit, my channel's a no one. We're nobodies. So, okay, talk to you later.